So one other thing that we have at UH is a career coach, and the career coach works with our employees specifically to get them a new job immediately. And so I work with my programs in tandem with the career coach. Our internal hiring increased. We have 40% of our positions are now filled internally, which is huge. And it's because of this work with the career coach. And the other part of it is that in participating in like our Bridge to the Future program, which is really geared to getting people to go to college, what happens is that when people see they can do math, they start feeling empowered and they get their self-confidence goes up and they see that they are way smarter than they thought they were, and then it gives them the confidence to apply for new jobs immediately. And so then they go on and do that. So
I have two questions. One is, so are the people getting paid? Are they using their work time to take classes, or are they doing that after work? And then also, my second question is, for the people that are in the neighborhood, what's the contact that people would have? Where would people contact? Who would they contact if they were interested in being part of that program?
So UH pays for the programs. For the people who are participating in Bridge to Your Future, they get paid for 1 hour of class time per week, and then they have to commit to an additional 3 hours of studying on their own time. The Pathway to PCA program, UH pays for all the training. And also UH has tuition assistance programs, so once they go to college, they can access tuition assistance. We also have what's called direct pay. So if you go to a community college, UH will directly pay the college tuition so that you don't have to wait, you don't have to front the money in your own pocket and then get to get reimbursed. So that's been really helpful. We've seen a huge spike in increase in people in college because they don't have to front the money like that. As far as people in the neighborhood, we have a huge outreach with Neighborhood Connections, which is a community-based organization that really is very grassroots, wealth building, neighborhood building, community building in those neighborhoods. And they get the word out. They have meetings, information meetings, and then Towards Employment attends those meetings and gives the information. So we work really closely with Neighborhood Connections and Towards Employment. But the work that they do is really invisible to us. They just present us with candidates and hand their sort of pre-employment training.
What about a group that has a learning disability or learning difficulties? How are you doing with that?
So it's really in terms of hiring or educating.
Educating them. They're in the program and realize they've got this.
So if it's something that's a learning disability, then our goal in the program is not it's everybody working their own pace. And there's no pressure to get to a certain point. Like I just help put the hours in, and you can work as slowly or quickly as you can, and we'll see where you end up at the other end. But it's really clear that there's some people that are just not going to, they just don't have the skills and ability to learn more than what they're doing. So we just try to help them figure out what jobs they can do. It may be a short-term certification or other jobs that they don't need any certification.
Sure, are your teachers do you have special ed teachers?
I'm the teacher, but I'm not really the teacher. We do online learning through Plato and Khan Academy, but we do not do anything specifically with learning. It's one of our challenges because I think that especially for our GED students, it's very clear to me that there's some people that have learning disabilities, and I'm not sure how to.
I know we have some adult literacy people here. I mean, maybe someone else can talk about Salome or Deanna. I mean, when you encounter someone who's got learning disabilities, what do you do?
We have a Tricia Access Department that helps with, say they need an interpreter, they need other things we're allowed to use. Once they go through it's a process, it's a whole process to identify that need because they have to be diagnosed. So it is a step-by-step kind of process that takes a little bit of time. But once they get through the access department, the official GD have online specific forms to fill out for various disabilities. and then the test will be altered so that they could move forward and take the GED. So we do have a department that does handle a lot of people come through with disabilities, but it's just a matter of qualifying. And so that is where the time and paperwork, they have to be screened and tested again, and then go to the access department and be tested by psychologists, physicians, and things like that in order to qualify. That's our only route as
And I'm from Seeds of Literacy, and we do everything on a one-to-one approach. So while we know that a lot of our students may have had learning difficulties or disabilities in the past, we don't have the resources to diagnose or assess those. But we find that a lot of times that one-on-one approach, that kind of slowed down patient approach, is usually one of the best things that you can do, regardless of what that learning disability might be. That doesn't solve all the problems. It's not a one-size-fits-all approach, but that's kind of how we're trying to tackle that.
Do you go to all your campuses with this, or just universities? Not just, but, or do you maybe focus on universities?
It's a really interesting question. We start everything at Case Medical Center and University Circle, and we've run Bridge to Your Future at Abuja once, and then we didn't have enough interest to run another class, and we attempted to recruit that class at Richmond and Bedford hospitals. We didn't have enough interest to make a whole class, and now there's an administrative building coming with it, and now it's there. So it's just really interesting. I think that the number of people at Case Medical Center is so high that it allows us to have enough applicants to do whatever it's take to make a class. So for people who like the singles of people who are interested, I'll give them access to the website so they can learn on their own. Well, I can't do the classes for those people.
So again, you have an employer here who, let's face it, they're a business. So they're looking at, are we helping our business? And I think they've come to the conclusion that yes, they are. Even again, anecdotally, and again, I've been in some of those conversations, well, people feel better about their employer. University Hospital is supporting me, is helping me to improve my position here at this company. You know, and I just want to speak a little bit about the GED part of the program that University Hospital is helping support. That is a great example of a collaboration of existing dollars that were out there, ABLE money. And you're all familiar with ABLE, Adult Basic Literacy Education, money the state gives to each county. And in our county now, Tri-C, Parma, and Polaris are the three recipients of state ABLE dollars. So much of our work has been around how do we connect that state ABLE dollar to where the need is. In the past, oftentimes those programs set up their GED programs at a school. Or now I know they're doing a great job of reaching out to some other neighborhoods and libraries, but they're often standalone type of programs. How do we do it differently? How do we connect them again to where people are and where people might be motivated? And so that was one where we identified an employer who said, we've got an interest. We had an ABLE provider. It's now Tri-C. Previously, right before they merged in with, it was the Cleveland Heights University Heights Adult Literacy Program. They said, we'd be interested. And so our organization went to the state, the Ohio Board of Regents, and said, we've got this great partnership to connect literacy in the workplace. Could you have any funds to help us get started? And so they provided some additional dollars as seed money to the Cleveland Heights ABLE program to get this thing started. And that was just initially. From that point on, now Tri-C's ABLE program supports this program with dollars that they have to help adults improve their literacy level. So it makes sense from them as well. So it really is a win-win situation where the ABLE program is able to meet some of the requirements they have to. They're connecting with an employer and with the needs and the support an employer wanted to really create a win-win situation. So those are the kind of collaborations that we'd like to see. How can we continue to fit those together, find out where the people are at, and connect resources.
And so I try to sell this to maybe different companies that they need the workforce, but then they don't want to keep the people because they need to speak the language or understand. So what would you say?
I mean, I think that there's that. I can only speak for the hospital.
Yeah.
I think that there's plenty of jobs people who do limited English.
entry level positions at hospitals. Students are one of our biggest employers. And what would you say to more?
I think that if that going to finding an ally in the hospital, somebody in HR, to say that you probably have like a ton of applicants, but are they really qualified? I can give you a pool of applicants who are have great work ethic, who are going to show up for work every single day, they have time, they will smile, they will learn the basics of English so that they can understand the manager. They can also listen. I think that a big part of the hospital work is customer service, and so being able to walk into a patient's room and say, "Good morning, how are you today?" and would be really, really important, as well as if somebody stops you in the hall and says, "There's this thing and this thing," people are always getting lost, and everybody has to step up and be able to tell people how to get from one place to another. That's a really important part of being in the hospital. So if you can